Welcome to Multifamily Live.
I'm Pili.
And I'm Jason Yarusi. Our mission is to help you unlock your full potential as a multifamily real estate investor.
So you can do more deals, bigger deals, with less stress, keep more profit, and free up your time.
Multifamily doesn't have to be a mystery. It's time to go live.
Aloha, everyone, and welcome back to the show. This is Multifamily Live, and I am going to talk to you about Clubhouse. So if you don't know what Clubhouse is, it is a social audio app for iOS and Android users where users can communicate in audio chat rooms that accommodate groups of thousands of people. There are other apps out there that do the same thing as Clubhouse, but they were first on the scene. And honestly, I think it is the easiest to use. Clubhouse actually began as a social media startup, and it was originally designed for podcasts, but was rebranded as Clubhouse and officially released for the iOS operating system in March 2020. Thank you, Wikipedia, for that information. So it hasn't been online for very long, just since March 2020. I joined Clubhouse in December 2020 when there were only a little over 600,000 members, listeners, users, whatever you want to call them. Now, I think the application has over 10 million users, and it is huge. So how do you use it correctly? How does it not become just another thing that you have to do in your day, another way to get yourself out there? So number one, if you want to use Clubhouse, then you're going to have to put some time into it. You're going to have to get in there and spend a few hours getting to know people, using your social media time wisely. So number one, time block Clubhouse into your calendar. Set yourself some limits. I did not do this at the beginning. I was spending hours. I went from -3 hours on social media, probably even less prior to Clubhouse. Clubhouse brought me back into the social media scene, and all of a sudden I was spending so much time on my phone, listening, learning, and it was a grand experience, but it was too much. So my number one advice to you is to put it in your social media calendar. If you don't already have a social media calendar, I suggest you put that together and let yourself know the time periods during the day that you have to be on social media. And that includes scrolling and posting on Facebook, Instagram, wherever it is that you do most of your posting, most of your social media activities. Have a calendar for this. And Clubhouse, you definitely need to have some time constraints put on this. And you'll understand if you are in Clubhouse and you're already using it, you already understand why. If you're not using it yet and are looking to get on, then by all means, please do. So how did I get into Clubhouse? And why am I even talking about this? Clubhouse exploded, detonated, opened up. I don't know what you want to call it. It opened up the doors to my network. I got to meet people I didn't even know existed in the world, all because somebody invited me up to speak. So I was in the audience I'm going to take you back further. My husband invites me to Clubhouse. I come on, I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, not another social media thing. Whatever. So we open up a room, nobody comes. We do one of our second cups of coffee there and we close the room, and we're just I kind of write it off as, you know what, that was a kind of a waste of time. But, we were already taping a podcast, so why not just put it out there? A few weeks later, Jason and I have COVID, and he's listening to a program happening, and I recognize a voice, and it's my friend Vina Jetty, and she's in a room. So I hop on, and I'm just like, wow, I actually recognize someone there, and they're talking real estate, and multifamily syndication. So a gentleman by the name of Ronnie invites me up And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll come up. And all of a sudden I'm a moderator. I get this like little green star next to my name. I'm like, okay, I have no idea what that is. And he reintroduces the room as a women in real estate room. And I get to talk with not only Vina, but a slew of women in real estate that I had no idea existed. That conversation has touched my heart, touched my mind, touched my business in so many ways that I cannot even begin to explain. I got to meet so many people who have taken myself and our business to the next level because of the knowledge that has gone back and forth on this app. So the number 2 piece of advice that I give to you is to put yourself out there. Join rooms that you are interested in, whether it is real estate, whether it is finances, whether it is mortgage lending, whether you're an agent. There are plentiful rooms on every single topic. And how do you find those rooms? You can search them using the search area in Clubhouse, and also the people that you follow will start to help you populate your rooms, populate your hallway. And your hallway is basically just an area where all the rooms that Clubhouse thinks you're interested in get populated into, and you get to pick from those rooms. So if you saw my hallway right now, you would see a lot of real estate, you would see a lot of NFTs, and you would see a lot of relationship, collaboration, building rooms. In fact, I was just in a room called the Mom Link, and that is all about collaboration and cooperation between women, not only in real estate, but just women entrepreneurs. So that's called the Mom Link. So put yourself out there. But remember, if you go into those huge rooms and no one knows you, you might be waiting a while to talk. So I also suggest, and this still goes with number 2, is to start small. Either start your own room and invite those people that you know to come in and talk and populate your own brand that way, or go into other people's rooms who you know, like, and trust, and who will bring you up on stage and you can have a great discussion. Start small and start building from there. It's like any social media platform. You can have 10 followers, 100 followers, 1 million followers. But if those followers aren't looking at your content, aren't hearing you talk, aren't really truly invested in you, it doesn't matter what the numbers are. So join those smaller rooms that you can gain traction in, that people can start to know, like, and trust you. So that's number 2. Number 3, did I already mention the time thing? I should mention the time thing. Go back to number 1. As you start doing this, you have to, again, make sure you're time blocking your time correctly, because as you start gaining traction, you're going to want to open up more rooms. You're going to want, because the feeling you get when you start giving the value, when you start meeting people and you start meeting people in real life, it feels like it's limitless. So you're going to have to limit your time, because you'll find you'll be spending too much time on Clubhouse. So number 3, when you get into rooms that are not your own, and even if you make your own room, make sure you have set rules. How do you want the room to run? Do you want to run it popcorn style, where anyone on stage can basically unmic and speak their heart? And it kind of goes, and if you do that, you have to make sure you're good at handling the room. Or are you in a room, or do you want to be a part of a room that has a list? As people join, that's who starts talking one at a time to share their piece. Again, you can do that, and you can really, really keep the energy going, energy flowing that way, because everyone will kind of know where they fall in the line of speakers. Or you can do a combination of the two, where you follow the line of speakers, but if somebody has something to add to the conversation, they know that they're allowed to do so. So make sure that you keep your room organized, you keep it succinct, and you keep it flowing. And really, really hone in on how you want the energy of the room to feel. Do you want it to feel warm and inviting? Do you want it to feel, I mean, I've been in part of rooms where it's like there's anger and there's just animosity and there's just bad feelings, but it's one of those like, oh my goodness, it's like seeing the blood splattered on the wall. It's like you can't help but look and watch and listen. Do you want that type of room? Do you want it to be sensational? Do you want it to be more informative? Do you want it to be warm and heartwarming? So you decide. If it's your room, you decide on how you want the energy to be. And also, you decide on what rooms that you want to go in. If you go into a room and you don't feel supported and you don't feel heard, walk out. That's like in real life too. It's really simple. And there's the button that says leave quietly, and you just exit the room, and that's it. You find another room or go about your day. So number 4, this is huge, folks. I actually stopped going on Clubhouse for a few months because it was taking so much of my time, and I needed to take action on all the information and all the people that came into my network because of Clubhouse. I had to take action on all of the goodness that came from Clubhouse. So some of the good things that came from Clubhouse. By now, most of you know our assistant, Alessandra. She came from Clubhouse. I would be in these rooms, or I would hold these rooms on real estate, and she would follow me into rooms, or I would see her in the audience, and I would happen to be brought up and happen to become a mod, and I would bring her up because I would always knew that she was there to learn, and everything that she gave, it was with confidence and it was with all the heart necessary for someone that I thought would be good to be on stage. So she reached out to me, asked for a phone call, asked for a few moments of my time. We got on a call and it was awesome. She told me all about herself, where she was going, how she wanted to get into large multifamily, and where she was in the process. And she also mentioned that she was going to be in Nashville. And at the time, I thought she was just visiting. Then I found out she was actually moving here. The thing is, we had no space for her in our company, but she came and met me anyway. But get this, 2 days before she came here, our assistant at the time had to move back to Florida to be with her family. So guess who became our assistant? Alessandra. And that was back in March. Now, these many months later, she is our underwriter, she is our assistant, and she is our friend, all because she went into the same rooms, she took action, and she followed through on that action. So be like Alessandra. Take action. She's not a social media person. She'll tell you that herself. But she took action on the actions that she was taking on social media, which is something we should all be doing when it comes to social. So, and then she took it into real life and met with me. And now she works with us full time as our underwriter and assistant. So thank you so much, Alessandra. I know you're going to listen to this later. Another few ways that my business has blown up and how I've taken it into real life. I have been invited to go to Clubhouse Live. Another one is going to be happening in Miami in January. I have not been able to be present for any of these Clubhouse Lives, but the people that I've gotten to meet via Clubhouse that host Clubhouse Live have opened up my thoughts about real estate, opened up of what I know and I think I can do. And it's one of those things where you hear something over and over and over again. For any of you that listen to us a lot, you know I am very risk adverse. But hearing people talk about real estate development, hearing people talk about the different facets of real estate that they do has helped me to acknowledge that I too can expand into these other areas, and I too can do more than I think I can. So Alvin Hope Johnson, who runs Clubhouse Live, whose key phrase is dream on, dreamer. He's been one of those key people in my life. He has done a podcast with us. Please look for it. Kaylani Blackwell and her partner, Brittany Rose of the Women in Real Estate Clubhouse. They have over 50,000 followers in that Clubhouse. So if you are just joining Clubhouse and you have not joined their club, please do. They have excelled and brought us to a whole nother levels. And that is the fourth largest support group on Clubhouse. These are just people that I have been able to grow with in the Clubhouse world. And I have been able to take what I have done on Clubhouse, and this is what you should be doing on other social media platforms, is to take them from one platform, your network, and take them to another platform. So I follow people into Instagram. I repost some of the things that they post. I get into discussions on Facebook with them. And I use content created and the relationships created on my podcast. So you've already heard, I've taken those people that I know and now like and trust from Clubhouse, and I've brought them on my podcast. There are many opportunities that I've had and that I have done where I've been able to source funds, and I've been able to bring on partners for various real estate ventures that I have done, various real estate syndications. Also, I have met people who have wanted to learn more about multifamily, and I was able to bring them into our world by simply opening my mouth and letting people know what I know and being open to what others know. So whenever I open up a Clubhouse room, I usually begin with the words, everyone has something to learn and everyone has something to teach. And I believe this is one of the founding, for me at least, this is one of the founding foundations of Clubhouse for me, is that any room that I've ever been in, I've learned something new. Either it was about myself or something about the world, or in real estate, I've learned something new, and I was always able to teach. So Clubhouse is one of those platforms, like any platform, it's going to be as good as you make it. So if you go in, you put the time, you understand how to use it correctly, it will pay you dividends, not only in money, but in social currency, in getting yourself out there, in the people that you're going to be able to surround yourself with. So get out there. If you're not already using Clubhouse, or if you wrote it off a few months ago and you're like, I'm never going back, please come back again. I'm actually going to be opening up a new room under Multifamily Live. And if you're interested in coming into the real estate world, coming into the multifamily world, please join us. So this is Pili. This is Multifamily Live. Thank you so very much for joining. Thank you so very much for listening. I am super grateful. And if you love what you heard, please rate, review, and subscribe. It would mean the world to me. Aloha.